Imagine you finally booked it. A luxury getaway to the Blue Ridge Mountains. You're tucked into a plush bed at the legendary Grove Park Inn.
Amazing.
The fire is roaring, and the mountain air is crisp. Everything is perfect until the temperature in room 545 bottoms out. You feel a gentle tug on your bed sheets. Then, a warm, invisible hand slides into yours. You squeeze back, thinking it's your partner, until you realize they're fast asleep 3 feet away. This isn't a vacation highlight, it's a living nightmare. You came here for a peaceful escape, but now you're sharing a pillow with a century-old mystery. How do you solve a problem that doesn't have a pulse? Tonight, we're checking into Asheville's most haunted hotel to hunt for the Pink Lady. But to understand the ghost, you first have to understand the man who built her cage out of 10,000 tons of granite. To understand why the spirits refuse to leave, you have to realize that the Grove Park Inn wasn't just built. It was summoned from the earth. Enter Edwin Wiley Grove, a man who got filthy rich selling tasteless chill tonic, a medicine that allegedly cured malaria but definitely funded a massive ego. Grove didn't want a wooden resort that would rot or burn. He wanted a granite cathedral that would stand until the end of time. In 1912, he unleashed an army of 400 stonemasons on Sunset Mountain. They didn't use dainty bricks. They used massive, prehistoric boulders, some weighing 10,000 pounds hauled up the mountainside by mules and sheer human will. The pace was frantic, bordering on obsessed. They completed the massive structure in just 11 months and 27 days, a feat that would be impossible even with today's technology. When it opened in 1913, William Jennings Bryan called it the finest resort in the world. But when you move that much ancient stone and build with that much desperate intensity, you create more than a hotel. You create a monolith that traps energy. And as it turns out, the architecture itself was designed to keep secrets hidden within its heavy gray walls. The moment you step inside that great hall, you'll immediately feel the weight of those massive stones pressing in on you. This isn't your typical airy lobby. It's a cavernous, dim space anchored by 2 14-foot fireplaces that roar like dragons. The arts and crafts style was meant to be honest, but here it feels imposing. Look closely at the walls. The stones are fitted together so tightly that no mortar is visible, creating a seamless tomb-like atmosphere. Even the elevators are tucked away inside the massive stone chimneys, their pulleys groaning like heavy chains as they climb. The acoustics are the real kicker. Because of the sheer density of the granite, sound travels in bizarre ways. A whisper in one corner can manifest as a clear voice right behind your ear. It's a designer's dream and a guest's auditory hallucination. Every floor creaks with the weight of history, and the dim amber lighting ensures that every shadow has a shape. It's an environment built to last forever, which is exactly why the spirits who checked in decades ago feel like they never truly checked out. That lingering energy is exactly what brings us to the dark heart of the Grove Park Inn. If these walls could talk, they'd spend most of their time whispering about room 545. It is a standard guest room on the surface, but it holds a heavy, tragic secret that dates back to the early 1920s. The legend tells of a young woman staying in that very room dressed in a flowing, silk, pink gown who met a sudden violent end. The details are as blurry as a mountain mist, but the outcome is always the same. She went over the stone railing of the 5th floor balcony and plummeted several stories into the palm court below. Some versions of the story say she was a heartbroken guest who took her own life after being abandoned by a lover. Others suggest something far more sinister, that she was pushed by a man whose identity has been lost to time. Regardless of how she fell, the Pink Lady didn't leave the hotel when her body did. Witnesses claim that in the moments after the fall, the air grew thick with the scent of gardenias, a floral perfume that still wafts through the hallways today. This isn't just a campfire story. It is a localized haunting so specific that guests who have never heard the legend often report the exact same thing. A girl in pink, standing at the edge of the balcony, looking down as if she's still deciding whether or not to jump. If you think a ghost is just a transparent figure floating through a wall, the Pink Lady is here to prove you wrong. She is one of the most active spirits in paranormal history, and she doesn't just haunt, she interacts. Her manifestations are legendary for their consistency. Guests in the 500 wing frequently report a thick, swirling pink smoke or mist that materializes at the foot of their beds, often accompanied by that signature, overwhelming scent of fresh gardenias. But it's her physical touch that really gets the adrenaline pumping. She's known as a gentle ghost, often seen as a protective or even playful presence. People have reported their toes being playfully tickled in the middle of the night, or feeling a hand gently stroking their hair. On more than one occasion, children staying at the inn have been found talking to the nice lady in the pretty dress when no one else was in the room. Even the hotel's electronic systems aren't safe. Lights in room 545 are famous for flickering on and off at 3 a.m., and air conditioning units have been known to blast ice-cold air in the middle of a sweltering North Carolina summer. She's not just a memory. She's a permanent, albeit invisible, resident who wants you to know she's there. By the mid-90s, the rumors of these interactions had become so loud that the hotel management couldn't just brush them off with a no comment. In 1996, they did something bold. They launched an official internal investigation. They didn't hire ghost hunters with flashing lights. They talked to the people who spent the most time in the trenches, the staff. The results were chilling enough to shake even the most hardened cynics. Take the story of a veteran maintenance painter who was sent to touch up the trim near room 545. He was a man's man, totally uninterested in ghost stories. Halfway through his shift, he dropped his brushes and sprinted out of the wing, white as a sheet. He claimed he felt a distinct cold hand press firmly against his back, nearly pushing him off his ladder. He refused to ever work in that section of the hotel again. Then there was the facilities manager who walked into a room to check a leak, only to find the heavy furniture rearranged in a circle. There were no guests checked in, and the door was deadbolted from the inside. This investigation proved that the Pink Lady wasn't just a marketing gimmick, she was a documented phenomenon that terrified the very people paid to keep the hotel running. But while the Pink Lady owns the spotlight, she's not the only high-profile spirit roaming these halls. The Grove Park Inn was a playground for the elite, including F. Scott Fitzgerald. In the 1930s, the Great Gatsby author spent 2 summers here, specifically in rooms 441 and 443, trying to dry out from his legendary alcoholism while his wife Zelda was treated for schizophrenia at the nearby Highland Hospital. Tragedy followed them like a shadow. In 1948, Zelda perished in a horrific fire at that hospital, and many believe her restless energy migrated back to the place where she and Scott spent their last semi-lucid moments together. Guests near the Fitzgerald suite often report the sound of frantic pacing, the clinking of cocktail glasses in an empty room, and the distinct smell of cigarette smoke when no one is lighting up. Some even claim to see a woman with wild, intense eyes wandering the hallways, looking for a husband who died long before her. The inn isn't just a hotel. It's a lighthouse for lost souls who can't let go of their glamorous, tortured pasts. Beyond the ghost stories of lost lovers and writers, the Grove Park Inn hides a darker, more clinical history that feels straight out of a spy thriller. During World War II, this luxury resort was stripped of its vacation vibes and converted into an internment center for Axis diplomats and their families. For months, the very hallways where the Pink Lady roams were patrolled by government officials keeping watch over high-level prisoners of war. But the secrets go even deeper. During the Cold War, the inn was chosen for a terrifyingly specific purpose. It was a designated relocation site for the United States Supreme Court. In the event of a nuclear strike on Washington, D.C., the justices were to be rushed to Asheville to convene and maintain the rule of law from within these thick granite walls. Knowing that the inn was prepared to be the last stand for American justice adds a layer of heavy, existential dread to the atmosphere. It's a building designed for survival, making it the perfect fortress for secrets that refuse to stay buried. Now for the million-dollar question. Is the Grove Park Inn actually haunted by these figures? Or is it just a masterclass in atmosphere? Skeptics point to the science of infrasound. The inn is perched on a mountain where high winds howl through narrow stone corridors, creating low-frequency vibrations that humans can't hear but can definitely feel. These frequencies are known to cause feelings of unease, chills, and even blurred vision, which might explain those pink mist sightings. Then there's the stone tape theory, the idea that the high quartz content in the granite acts like a giant hard drive, recording the intense emotions of the past and replaying them for sensitive guests. But how do you explain the physical contact? Scientists can't easily dismiss the hundreds of independent reports of people being tucked into bed or touched by warm hands. These accounts don't just come from overactive tourists. They come from stone-cold sober security guards and long-term employees who have nothing to gain by making up stories. Whether it's a glitch in the physics of the building or a genuine rift in the veil between life and death, the consistency of the experiences is undeniable. In a place this old and this heavy, the line between rational and supernatural starts to look very thin. So after hearing the legends, the tragedies, and the chilling eyewitness accounts, the question remains, would you spend a night in room 545? The Omni Grove Park Inn stands as a monument to history, but for many, it's a living museum of the macabre. Whether you believe the Pink Lady is a protective guardian or a trapped soul searching for a way home, there is no denying that this hotel holds a power that defies explanation. The next time you find yourself in Asheville, keep your eyes on those fifth-floor balconies and maybe, just maybe, skip the floral perfume. You wouldn't want to be mistaken for a permanent resident. If you've ever stayed at the inn and felt that phantom touch, tell us your story in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's most haunted locations. Stay curious.